This is how I do my nails to get them to last 1 to 2 weeks with regular nail polish. I'm not going to do multiple parts, so this is going to be a bit of a long one, but you can save this and come back to it later if you want. I'm going to start with oiling my cuticles because this area is about to get blasted with acetone, so this is kind of a protective layer to prevent it from fully drying out. This is a cuticle oil from Haunted Polish, but anything like jojoba oil or almond oil will work just fine. And then I just rub that into the skin until it is mostly absorbed. To remove my nail polish, I use these cotton pads that have a protective layer on the back so I don't mess up my other nails. And I soak that nail with acetone to fully soften up that polish so it can just easily wipe away. You want your nails to be as clean as possible, so don't forget to get into those cuticles. Now this is where I'm going to say do as I say, not as I do, because I actually have a bend in my nail and this is damage that I've been growing out for over a month when I did not oil my nails regularly. The best thing to do when that happens is to just keep it short until it fully grows out because it will eventually just break off one day. Next, I'm going to clean up the nail. I personally do not cut my cuticles. I am not a trained nail tech, so I just push them back lightly or scrape them off with a wooden stick. This should not hurt at all, and it should be done so gently since you don't want to damage your actual nail. Now, I personally don't have much cuticles because I've been doing my nails consistently for a few months, but you may have cuticles that look more like this. So just take your time scraping it away or use a cuticle remover or oil to soften them up if it's particularly stubborn. Now, really take your time doing this step because I do not want to see you painting over your cuticles. If there is any of that dead skin left on the nail, you're basically asking for the nail polish to chip and lift from that point. So when my nail plate looks pretty clean, I take a Q-tip or a cotton round and I just wipe it with acetone again. You want the nail to be dry because any oils will also cause the polish to chip or peel. Now we can finally move on to the base coat. Now this is the one I use. It's the OPI Natural Nails Base Coat. It's the first one I tried and it works really well for me. As you can see, my bottle is pretty much empty. My only issue with it is that it comes with a tiny skinny brush, so it makes application a little bit difficult, but I'll use it up and try something else eventually. Now the name of the game from here is not flooding your cuticles. So when you take that brush out, you're going to want to scrape it on the neck of the bottle so that you get all that excess polish off. This is going to give you some more control so that it's not going anywhere that you don't want it to go. Now I mostly skip this step for my thumb because, like I said, this is a tiny skinny brush. Now when you apply the polish, you're not going to start exactly at your cuticle. You can see I start a little bit above and then I push down a little bit and then I swipe up. I do this on both sides of the nail and then I try to minimize the amount of swipes because by the time you've done that third swipe, it is already starting to dry. So move quickly with any of your finishing touches. Now this is the easiest way to get more longevity out of your nail polish is just capping the free edge, and I do this on every layer. It's literally just a swipe across the tip of the nail and it prevents chipping from the tip of your fingernail. Now I do 2 layers of base coat to prevent staining because I use very pigmented polishes, but you can skip this step. I also like this as a step to kind of practice painting my nails again. Like I'm getting myself warmed up for the real thing. Plus, if I missed a spot, this is my chance to fix it. Now onto the fun part, which is the actual color going on your nails. The nail polish that I'm using is Bee's Knees Lacquer, The Water Remembers, and this is a beautiful magnetic nail polish. And before I start painting, I'm doing the same thing that I did with the base coat. I'm just swiping it on the neck of the bottle to get that excess polish off, and I'm left with that bead of nail polish on one side of the brush. And the application technique is also pretty much the same as the base coat. I'm starting a little bit above that cuticle and then I'm inching it down ever so slightly, and then I am pulling it up on all 3 sides of the nail, going center, then side, then side. And you see how I'm leaving a little sliver of a gap down there? That is intentional. That gap is very important and we're going to talk about that later. Now, my application is still not perfect. There's some people who can get that gap really tiny and really clean, but I'm still working on it. When that first layer is done, I go in with a cleanup brush, which mine is literally just an eyebrow brush soaked with a little bit of acetone, and I just straighten up the cuticle line. Now, once that first layer is touch dry, meaning I can just tap it with my finger and it won't come up, I repeat the same steps with the second coat, starting a little high on the nail and shimmying the brush down before pulling it back up. I'm also using the shape of the brush itself to get into those edges, so I'm not actually pulling my brush there. I'm more just putting pressure on it so it extends itself out to that corner. Also, do you see how many swipes I'm doing to get it as clean as I can? This is why I don't recommend instant dry nail polishes, because they basically start drying the second that you take the brush out of the bottle, meaning you have way less time to work with it and get it clean. So if you're a beginner, it's actually easier for you to use nail polishes that have slightly more dry time so you can work with it. And this nail polish is still pretty fast drying. I only wait a couple minutes between coats. I magnetized this off camera and now she's ready for the top coat. Now this isn't my cleanest application, I'll be honest. Between the camera blocking my view of the nail and the top coat being kind of thick, I got a little messy, but I'll show you how I handle that. My primary concern with the top coat is getting it over that little gap that I left when I painted the color and encasing every single trace of nail polish in top coat. If there is any of that nail polish not encased in top coat, then it's going to chip because nothing is protecting it. And you know, when that first chip happens, it creates a domino effect up the rest of the nail. And of course, don't forget to cap the free edge with the top coat as well. Once I'm done, I go in with my cleanup brush again and I clean off any of those edges with acetone, melting those edges down to the nail. But Solo, I can just pick it off in the shower. Yeah, sure, but think about it. If your nail polish is attached to your nail and your skin, then when you pick it off of your skin in the shower, it tears. It doesn't leave a clean edge. You're essentially leaving a gap for all of those elements, water, dust, anything, to come in or snag the torn edge and cause chips or lifting. I hope that makes sense because I also didn't think it was necessary until I tried it, but now I see the results and I am preaching the gospel of the cleanup brush. As for dry time, I see a concerning amount of people saying that they wait 30 minutes to an hour between coats. I don't do that, and I hope that you're not doing that either, because the whole process of painting my nails only takes me about 30 minutes to an hour, and sometimes two if I'm doing magnetic polishes. I paint one hand at a time, so I always have a dry hand to work with, and once that top coat goes on, it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes before I feel comfortable going about my day. Will this work perfectly for everybody? Absolutely not. I do not know what products would work best on your nails. I only know what works for mine. So I hope you take what works for you in this tutorial. If I missed anything or if anything was confusing, then please feel free to ask in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I just do this for fun. So take this as a sort of jumping off point on your nail journey. Thank you for watching and may your manis be long lasting and chip free for many days to come.